Sound check, 1, 2.
This is the 217 Recovery Podcast with Corey Winfield.
He knows as soon as he gives it to her, he's gonna give her his heart to her too.
And we'll have kids and get married.
That's too far.
Holy shit.
Welcome to the 217 Recovery Podcast, the 23rd of May, 2020. My name is Corey Winfield. 217 Recovery Podcast. Thanks for listening. Started this as a way to keep myself sober. It's been working pretty well so far. So far, so good. You know, I must mention, though, the really bad part of having a home studio, and this is a great studio. I have an awesome desk, some awesome mics, everything's awesome, except the cat's litter box in the closet. I just cleaned it because I figured, hey, you know, if I'm going to be doing this podcast, I'm going to make sure it doesn't smell like cat doo-doo. So yeah, apparently she likes the clean litter box because as I started the intro, she wanted to use it. Now it could be worse, right? No, I love my cat. And matter of fact, as I got home from work today, as I come into my apartment, there's like these stairs, like they greet you immediately. And as I open the door, here she comes running down them like a dog would greet somebody, or like a kid, you know, like, Daddy, you're home. And I really do love my cat. She means a lot to me. And I thank God that I have my cat. And she's so awesome. You might think that that's a weird thing, but, you know, she's very, very comforting to me. And I got her just days after my grandmother passed away in June of 2010. And I don't know. I was talking to my girlfriend about this because when I got her then, it was such a weird moment because it's not like I had planned to get a cat, and just something just told me, you know, I need some companionship after, you know, the loss of my grandmother, who I was very close with. And so I got her, and I wasn't even supposed to have a cat. I didn't even ask the landlord. It didn't even cross my mind. I just went and got her. And the things that I've put her through, and like all the times when I would relapse and I'd be laying in bed, just in pain and just ugh, and she would come comfort me. And I don't know, all the times I would go to a rehab and stay, and I would leave her, and I don't know. She's been through a lot, man. I put her through a lot, and the fact that I can walk in the door today and she comes running down them to greet me, you know, with excitement, it makes me feel good. And I thank God that I do have her in my life, and I think God was the one who told me, go get a cat. You know, he didn't say it like that or whatever, but you know what I'm saying. And I thank God, too, that I have such an amazing woman in my life, my girlfriend, and I thank God for the beautiful family that I do have, the brothers and sisters, my mom, my dad. And, you know, it's just really great to have God in my life. And I'm not preaching, not trying to get on like a religious kick with you. I'm not doing a podcast about that tonight. But I did want to kind of talk about gods, though. And I was talking to this guy the other day, and he was telling me about, I guess he said a Viking, but like it has nothing to do with the TV show Vikings, nothing like that. But it is sort of, because it's the same gods that they used or whatever. But he grew up that way, and he was trying to explain to me about it, and I was getting really confused, and I don't know. He wasn't trying to convert me or anything, but he was just trying to help me understand. And it's like, I understand as long as you have something that is like a higher power, it could, and I'm cool with whatever you got going on, man. I really am. I think that's wonderful. I think that's very important. For me, it is huge, because I wouldn't be sitting here today where I'm at without some help. I didn't do this by myself. That's absolutely 100% fact. And things happen sometimes in weird ways where I don't have to figure out why they happened. I just have to know that they did, and I have to react, I guess. I really don't like to react, but to act accordingly. You know, like the miscarriage, which I almost didn't even say because I'm not sure if I really want to talk about it, but my girlfriend and I, we came to terms with it, and we realized it did happen for a reason, and it brought us much closer together, you know. some people would curse God, why did you do this to me? And there's a reason. And it's not my job to figure it out. My job is to look what happened, look what was created, and look what, the situation is now. And I thank God, we'll just leave it at that. A friend of mine today, not like a real close friend, I guess acquaintance, friend-ish, sort of. But I know the guy, and people in recovery, it's a smaller community. I mean, it's a huge community, but it can get pretty small pretty quick. Whether you're downstate in Michigan, upstate in Michigan, you can run into the same people over and over. And, I've been to quite a few rehabs. So I've met some people along the way. And this guy tonight, God put me there, and I needed to be there at the exact moment to get this guy the help that he needed. And that's all. The only thing I could focus on was like, don't let him down. Don't let this guy down. And there's only so much you can do. You can only control what you can control. You can call all the rehabs in town, and if they don't have a bed, they don't have a bed. You can't take somebody to the hospital and just drop them off and say, hey, they're drunk, they need help. They'll kick you right out. And I'm not going to make somebody say that they're going to take their own life, because that is a way that people can stay at the hospital. Just tell them that, hey, you're thinking about taking your life. I'm not saying that you do that either, and I didn't want him to do that, so I wasn't going to do that. But he ended up getting into treatment, but it was really I'm trying to express the feel. Obviously, I'm having a hard time expressing the feeling. I'm trying to think about it. The feeling of, I'm glad I'm not in your shoes anymore kind of feeling. I know there's a much better way to say that, but it is almost midnight and I'm tired. So just roll with me here on this. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Glad I'm not in his shoes. I saw him, asked him how he was feeling, which I probably was rhetorical, but he just started crying, man. He said he was a loser, and I've been there. I've done that. And I told him, let's just come inside and get you some help. Let's get you where you need to go. And he had been to treatment many times, and I told him not as many as me. And he's like, maybe, probably. But the fact that he showed up and wanted help was huge. He knows he can't go on living that life, and he doesn't want to deep down. And it's that one drink. I am one drink away from being in his exact shoes. As much fun as I had in rehab, I really don't want to go back. I would rather work at a rehab facility than to go back into one. Personally, I have too much to lose. One drink is not going to be one drink. It'll turn into half gallons and hospital trips. And I'm over that, man. I've done that enough in my life, and it feels so damn amazing. And it wasn't easy. It was learning each step of the way. And every time I left, like I've said many times before, I thought I had it. I thought this time is it. And hopefully, a lot of help from God this time, or the last time, it will be it. And the look on his face, though, when he said that he was, a loser and worthless, and the tears that were coming from his face, it just made me feel like, damn, I'm glad that's not me tonight, and I'm glad that he was able to get the help that he needed. And it kind of brought me back down memory lane, because as I was taking him to a detox, he last minute wanted to change his mind, and he's like, no, man, just take me home. I told him, no, I'm not going to do that. And he's like, for real, man, are you going to do this to me? Yeah, I'm not doing anything to you. I'm helping you out. And I told him, I was like, is there a problem with this with this detox? Like it was a hotel room, like, oh, is this chain not good enough for you? Do they not put mints on your pillows? And, he's like, no, this is okay one. I was like, look, man, I was at a detox in Grand Rapids, and down in this dungeon of a detox basement hallway, it's just this long hallway. On the right-hand side is where the men stay, and there's this long, like, you open the door about halfway down, boom, now you're in this room. It's dark, and you got 12, 13 beds lined up against the wall all the way to the end. Now, at the very end, that's where my bed was. And across from that bed is a bathroom. And there's no door on it. And it's just constant, just, it's a detox. So all that detox mess is happening right there by my bed. I couldn't even stay in the bed in the dark, dingy. That was a horrible detox. That was a detox that if someone said, please don't take me in there, I'd be like, all right, I get it. Let's go do another one. But no, this place I was dropping them off at is first class. The people there care. And that's a huge part of it too. So it wasn't like I was dropping off at a bad place. So I told them that, and I was like, look, man, you're not going this place. This is something that I wouldn't take you to, but this is what you need. And don't you want to be done with this? Just one more time. It starts here, It took some more coaxing, but I got him in there, and he agreed to stay. And when I left, as far as I know, he did stay. So good for him. And I really do wish him well. But yeah, that memory lane, it brought me back to that dirty, nasty detox, that place that I don't ever want to be again. And not saying that it was, look, if you're in a place where you're living in your car, I don't know, like you're that desperate, you might have to go through a detox like that. Detoxes aren't really made to be luxurious. Lots of, excuse the pun, but lots of shit happens there. And literally, and yeah, they're just not luxurious anyway, for the most part. But yeah, it's definitely better to go into a detox, even if it's crappy, than to keep living that life that you're living. And I definitely recommend getting help that you need. But it reminded me of another story that I was telling a guy the other day about. Around that same time, I think right after maybe I left that facility in Grand Rapids, I went to a sober living house. And when I got there, I was the only white guy. And all the furniture was wrapped in plastic. And it took me a few days. And then I finally asked them, I'm like, why is everything wrapped in plastic? And I really don't understand why this is. Like my bed, the couch, all that stuff. Why is it wrapped in plastic? And one of the guys told me, he's like, "Oh man, see that's because the bed bugs." And I was like, "Wait, what? That's the bed bugs." So I called the guy who owns the house. And I was like, "Wait a minute, you didn't tell me about the bed bugs." "Oh man, that's just a rumor." And then I started putting two and two together. I'm like, wait a minute. Why on the front porch is there all the furniture wrapped up in plastic out on the front porch? Why is my bed wrapped in plastic? And he was like, oh, wait, you didn't unwrap it, did you? And I was like, man, I'm out of here. So I left that one and went to this other sober living house across the city there in Grand Rapids. And this woman was the owner, and she was nice. And I hadn't talked to my mother in a few days. And my mom she had like the mother's spidey sense or whatever, and she knew something was up. So she somehow got the lady's number, called her, and said, yeah, Corey's drinking. Yeah, I can feel it. He's drinking. So she came over to the house, opened the room where I was at, and asked, are you drinking? And I was like, yo, I sure am. So she threw me out and then told me I had to leave the property. And I was like, lady, where am I supposed to go? I'm drunk. I can't drive out of here. And she's like, I don't care. You're on my property. That's trespassing. So she called the Grand Rapids Police.